I think if they would have came up to 16 million, you'd have a point. But I don't think they came up that far. And he deserved that after you ran him into the ground. 16 million.
All right. Problem. Well, DeMarco ranks 19th among NFL running backs in snaps this season. Last year, he was 3rd in the NFL, and the man he replaced, LeSean McCoy, was 4th when he was with the Eagles. And we're going to talk about LeSean now. Obviously, former Eagle running back, current Bills running back, downplayed any friction with Chip Kelly in interviews with Philadelphia-based reporters prior to McCoy's return Sunday to Lincoln Financial. Quote, "I don't have no issue with him. There's no problem. I don't hate him. It's nothing like that. We ain't like best friends or that, but we're no enemies." McCoy stood by those comments in the May issue of ESPN, the magazine, saying that Kelly, quote, got rid of all the black players on the Eagles. He reiterated that he never called Kelly a racist, but said this.
"I'm not going to change, anything I said. I stand by everything I said before, and I have no problem with Chip, no hatred, nothing at all. But anything I ever said, I stand by it. I don't take it back. One thing about myself, I would never take back nothing I say, but I have my own reasons to feel how I felt. I think that's the difference between me and other players. Is other players, they won't really say how they feel. I'm different. I speak how I feel, but I really don't want to relive that. I really don't want to go back to that.
Stephen A., what's your reaction?
My reaction? I'm proud of LeSean McCoy. I'm proud of him. He's absolutely right. He never said Chip Kelly was a racist. He never told me he was a racist. He never told anybody he's a racist. What he said was, Chip Kelly seems to be getting rid of all the black players. Now, what I find almost comical, we live in a very, very PC world, and we understand that. We also understand that this show ain't too PC, so, let me be very, very clear. Chip Kelly don't make me comfortable, but because in the aftermath of all of this stuff being broached, he came across as very aloof, very dismissive. And I'm going to remind folks about what's going on. LeSean McCoy, who's, by the way, is averaging nearly 5 yards a carry right now, 4.6 yards to be exact, almost 800 yards on the season, leading the Buffalo Bills. They got the number 4 rushing attack in all of the NFL. LeSean McCoy can flat out ball. By the way, Skip, as we've watched the Eagles evolve this year and we've seen Chip Kelly's system, we see that LeSean McCoy was clearly a better option than Ryan Matthews and DeMarco Murray. LeSean McCoy is looking at this, knows this, and I need to leave. You're going to trade me for Kiko Alonso, who hasn't panned out yet. Okay? You're going to get rid of Jeremy Maclin. The year before that, you're going to get rid of Deshaun Jackson. But you kept Riley Cooper. Now, I understand the $22 million guarantee. The $22 million, $8 million guaranteed, the $4 million. I get all of that about Riley Cooper. But what people forget is that when it went down, Chip Kelly had virtually nothing to say. The players were left holding the bag, having something to say. And then Chip Kelly basically sent Riley Cooper away, talked about sensitivity training and all of this other stuff. The brother was gone on a Friday and back on a Tuesday. He had a long weekend.
And by the way, who stood up on this show and said he has to be gone?
Skip Bayless stood up. I was the one that sat up there and said he apologized, let's move forward. Skip was like, no, he got to go. Skip was like, he got to go, all right? What Skip was pointing to was right. You were like, the guys around him, how is this going to affect them?
How do you
Chip Kelly gave them no thought. He expressed no sensitivity, but LeSean McCoy got to go because he's opinionated. And Jeremy Maclin's got to go. Yes, they did make Jeremy Maclin an offer. People are right. Everybody forgets that initially they did it, and they gave him the opportunity to go to Andy Reid and to get that money. And Jeremy Maclin took the offer because he felt it should have never came to that, which is why he decided to go with Andy Reid. Okay? So let's take all of that into consideration. And, of course, we know the whole Deshaun Jackson fiasco.
And by the way,
he was out the door.
As he left town, it appeared somebody inside the organization tried to tarnish his reputation.
Jeremy Maclin and Deshaun Jackson.
Especially Deshaun
Jackson. So you got all of that going on. And so LeSean McCoy comes out and he says, well, these are all brothers. And this is what's happening. And this is the kind of verbiage that's coming. Not to mention the fact that, you know, you walk by this man every day, you try to communicate with this man every day, and there's nothing that's going on. It ain't just players, it's coaches that don't like Chip Kelly. All right? There's executives that don't like Chip Kelly. He's hunkered down, he's a loner. So there was validity to what LeSean McCoy had to say. What I laugh about is that we have some folks in white America that tries to sit here and tell LeSean McCoy how he's supposed to feel. I'm sorry, when did you become black? When were they communicating with you? How would you know? How would you know? When everybody got on me, what I said was, I'm in the streets of Philadelphia minding my business, and a few of the Eagles were rolling by and was like, yo, come here, we need to talk to you.
They're just driving by.
Driving by and stopped and told me. That's how it happened.
I got it.
And so I came on the air and I said, look, this is what they're saying. Now, I'm telling you, they never said, never once said, Chip Kelly was quote-unquote racist. What they did say is, he don't seem too comfortable with the brothers.
Okay.
Now, they don't have a right to say that. If I'm a black person and I'm around a few white folks that don't seem comfortable around black dudes, I don't have a right to sit there and say that without calling you a racist. I don't know why you're uncomfortable, but if I think you're uncomfortable, I don't have a right to say that. That's basically what LeSean McCoy was saying. And ever since that time, everybody wants to stand up, oh, it's ridiculous, ridiculous. Like you can provide an eyewitness account of how Chip Kelly acted around these dudes. It just amazes me sometimes how so many white folks stand up and take a personal affront to what LeSean McCoy said. Okay. LeSean McCoy didn't say that about white people. He said it about Chip Kelly. And that's the whole point. We're talking about Chip Kelly. We talk about white America. And nobody wants to bring that up. So I felt the need to.
Okay, is it fair? I'll ask this as a white guy.
Sure.
Is it fair for white people to stand back from this and say, it certainly appears that LeSean, or it sounds like LeSean, is accusing Chip Kelly of racist behavior, engaging in racist behavior, because when you identify black players, he's getting rid of all the black players. Once you've identified the race, is that fair for white people to say, well, it sure sounds like you're at least suggesting or suspecting that he is engaging in racist behavior?
It's all right for white folks to suspect whatever they want and legitimately ask the question. I'm always open for that. People do it on my show, radio show every day. I'm good with it. My point is, listen to the response and take it for what it is. If LeSean McCoy sits there and says he's getting rid of all the black players, well, look, did you see him getting rid of some marquee black players? Yes, you did. If you have Trey Thomas and LeSean McCoy and others saying he don't seem comfortable around us.
I agree.
My point is that, okay, how come they can't say that without being accused of calling the man a racist? How come you can't sit there and look at Chip Kelly and say, excuse me, why are they uncomfortable with you? How is it that LeSean McCoy ended up being demonized for what he experienced as opposed to
I'm not demonized. I like it.
I know
I appreciate it.
I'm talking about in America. How is it that LeSean McCoy brings up a point and he's demonized as opposed to Chip Kelly having to answer the question? Chip Kelly went asked for weeks upon weeks at a time. It literally got to a point where the Philadelphia media literally locked in on him and said, damn, could you at least answer the question? Act like you got some level of sensitivity towards people who are different culturally, ethnically, or whatever than you are? I mean, because you come across as incredibly dismissive and aloof. How is it that LeSean McCoy is the one left to answer questions about his personal experience, but Chip Kelly gets to slide on through?
That's fair.
That's the point.
Okay.
That's the point.
Okay. I got it. But to me, LeSean wouldn't be out of bounds if he said, and I'll just put words in his mouth, but if he said something like, it appears to be racist behavior. His moves appear to be racially motivated.
No, because, here's the problem. And we don't say this enough in our society, so I'll say it. There's a difference between racism, bigotry, prejudices, or whatever. You might be prejudiced against an individual because you don't like something about that individual. You may be bigoted from the perspective that you just don't want this person to succeed for whatever reason. But racism literally is attached to a superiority complex over somebody just based on the color of their skin and their ethnicity. So when black folks stand up and you say something is racist, in my opinion, and there are people far more educated than me. I mean, I listen to so many people, just like I listen to conservative talk radio. I listen to liberal talk radio, like my girl Karen Hunter, Joe Madison, Mike Thompson, Stephanie Miller, all of these liberals. I listen to a lot of different people. I'm simply saying that somebody else can try to define it for me if they want to, and I'm good with it. I'm open to it. But for me, I find it very difficult to look at somebody and use the word racism, because I don't believe in most instances somebody thinks they're superior to me just because of the color of my skin. I do believe that there's an entitlement issue going on in different segments of our society, and that's a different subject for another day. But thinking you're better than me just because you're white and I'm black, I can't prove that. So I can't just go there. Now, there are certain things where it's obvious. Please don't get me wrong, because racism is definitely a part of our society, and it has never gone away, and people in America need to accept that. Yeah. But in the case of the NFL, as it pertains to Chip Kelly and this particular subject, LeSean McCoy is in no position to sit there and accuse Chip Kelly of it based off of moving on to Buffalo. But what he is in a position to say is, I know how I was personally treated by this man. I know what I saw, and based on that, he seems to be getting rid of the black players, and he don't seem to be comfortable with the brothers. Now, to me, LeSean McCoy has every right to say that, and from that portion forward, we have a right to know, to hear an answer to that from Chip Kelly, which he has never really given us.
Okay, all right. Now, back to Riley Cooper, back to my view of Riley Cooper. To me, Chip Kelly's handling of that situation came across as tacit approval of outrageously racist behavior by one of his white players. As for those who have forgotten, at a concert, he was caught on videotape, cell phone video, of uttering the most evil word in the human language, the N-word ending in the hard ER. And to your point, was there any real punishment there? I don't know what happened. He was back in 2 days? Are you kidding me for that? How would the black players, and I thought Michael Vick, to his credit, he stood up as the team leader at that point and said, okay, we're okay with this.
But remember? And Molly wasn't here at the time, so let me just remind you, just to remind you, my position, that was Skip's position. He's never deviated from it. My position was he was drunk. He was inebriated at a country music concert. You understand? In that kind of environment, he made the mistake. He should be punished for it, but I wasn't of the mindset that he shouldn't be forgiven and he should just be thrown off the team. The point is that what people have to embrace and accept is the fact that that is an entirely separate incident than Chip Kelly. And the reason why it's separate and apart from Chip Kelly, because it's one thing for the players to sit there and say, we don't like it, we ain't comfortable with him, we let him know we ain't comfortable with it, it better not happen again, but we're good. It's another thing entirely for Chip Kelly to just act like it was a non-issue. Because when he did that, and you couple that with the other players he found excuses to get rid of who were far more talented than Riley Cooper, that elevated and exacerbated the situation. Because listen, to black people, you got to understand, for most of us, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but for most of us, sports is the closest thing to being a meritocracy that we can find in the United States of America. You perform, you are rewarded for it. Of course, there's always the proverbial glass ceiling or the curtains that you could hide behind that tells you it's this or something else is going on. But for the most part, if you are legit and you can perform, you can get rewarded for it, period. So when it's like that, but then you see Chip Kelly make all of these moves, getting rid of players who are better than Riley Cooper while keeping Riley Cooper, particularly after his transgression. You're going to have some black players that look at that situation and say, damn, can we ever get a fair shot? Because I'm better than him, and I helped this team win more than he does. And I'm still gone, and he's still here. They're going to say that, and that is where all of that stuff comes in.
Even though, to be fair to Chip Kelly, he did sign DeMarco and he did sign Ryan Matthews, both of whom are black, obviously.
Well, yeah, but
okay.
again, and this is something I'm going to allow me to use these words to educate you all about this portion. It's not just about you getting somebody black. It's that you want your type of guy.
I'm with you on that. I agree with that.
Yeah, we understand it. Every coach is like, every coach wants their kind of guy.
Yep.
The problem is it's not usually at the expense of talent. If you are a superior talent, usually the great coaches will say, well, you might not be our type of guy, but damn, you're too good to let go of.
Okay.
Chip Kelly was like, nah,
no,
I want my type of guy.
Yeah,
and that's a part that
and by
makes
the way, what do you say
players
about
uncomfortable.
What do you say about DeMarco the 2 times he's been on this show?
CIA.
CIA.
Yeah, got nothing to say.
Got nothing to say.
DeMarco's
Oh, man,
he's
he's a great guy. I'm just saying for the purposes of TV, he'll never get a job in television. Don't even think about it.
I just want to add one thing. I know I'm not saying Chip Kelly's a racist.
I'm not saying it either.
No. I just want to add this. Or uncomfortable around different ethnicities. But if he is, he certainly picked the wrong sport, specifically African Americans, because he's going to miss out on tremendous talent if that is the case.
People have a legitimate right to ask the question about why he made the decisions that he made, and he has an obligation to come across a bit more sensitive than he has appeared.
And LeSean did just that, and he has the opportunity to really influence the outcome of the NFC East, a conference we like to talk about. LeSean's next 3 games against the division, the Eagles, Redskins, and then home for the Cowboys. Up next, we switch gears to the association. The Warriors' perfect start to the season continued last night against the Pacers, so what is it going to take to beat them? And welcome into another hump day here on First Take. We have another loaded show for all of you at home, and we are off to a tremendous start. Don't miss a beat of what we're discussing by checking out our complete rundown, which you can find on IG right now.